boys and girls. I'm Mrs. Burke and I'm a 5th grade teacher, and the book that I'm reading for you today is If You Find a Rock, and it's written by Peggy Christian. And I'm hoping that you'll try to remember some of the rocks that are found here, and when you're outside playing, you look for these rocks too. If you find a rock, if you find a rock, a nice flat round rock that sits just right in the crook of your fingers, then you have found a skipping rock. You toss it out in the water just so you can see it trip across the surface, making a chain of spreading rings. Maybe you find a soft white rock, a rock that feels dusty in your fingers, and then you have a chalk rock, and you use it to make pictures on the pavement. Or maybe you find a big mossy rock by the side of a long steep trail, and then you have a resting rock, and as you sit down you feel the cool moss squish beneath you. Then again, you might find a rock with a stripe all the way around it. Trace the line with your finger. It must circle all the way. And then you have a wishing rock, and you whisper what you want before you toss it. If you find a rock, a big rock by the edge of the water, then you have found a splashing rock. When it hits the surface, the water jumps out of the way, raining back down on your outstretched hands. The bigger the rock, the wetter you get. Maybe you find a pile of small round pebbles, and then you have found shifting rocks. And you can scoop them up in the handful and let them slide through your fingers. Or maybe you find a rock whose water-smooth surface catches your eye, and it feels easy in your hand when you rub it. Then you have found a worry rock. You rub it between your fingers, and your troubles are smoothed away. Then again, you might find a rock sitting in a grassy field. Push it over. You have found a hiding rock. And in the cold, dark underside live all kinds of things that creep and crawl and hide out of sight. If you find a rock, a great rock that towers over you, then you have found a climbing rock. Hold on with your toes and fingers, grip hard as you stretch and pull until you reach the top, where you feel much grander than you did on the ground. Maybe you will find a twisting line of rocks sticking up out of a creek, and then you have found crossing rocks, which wait to meet your feet as you pass over the water rushing away all around you. Or maybe you find a rock with a print of something else, a leaf or a shell, and then you have found a fossil rock, and you feel the shape of something that lived long, long ago when the rock was very young. Then again, you might find a small round rock right in front of your toe as you go down the sidewalk. You have found a walking rock, and you kick it ahead of you and let it lead you home. If you find a rock that's not a skipping rock or a chalk rock or a resting rock or a wishing rock, that's not a splashing rock or a sifting rock or a worry rock or a hiding rock, that's not even a climbing rock or a crossing rock or a fossil rock or a walking rock, but you like it anyway because it reminds you of a place or of a feeling or of someone important. Then you have found a memory rock, and sometimes those are the very best rocks of all. Sometimes we put our memory rocks in a very special place. So boys and girls, that's the story. If you find a rock, and I hope that when you spend some time outside, you spend some time looking for these very special rocks.